It's that time again. Time for the all-new Culture Cast, which begins right now. Hey everyone, welcome to the all-new Culture Cast. I'm your host Nick, and with me tonight will be Cousin Charles. This is our third installment and our second of the three where Cuz and I are talking about how we would approach and rectify the current state of affairs that is the DC Universe movies. If you've missed our two earlier installments, please go back and check them out. Then come on back here, and you can get caught up to speed. And we'll now continue our discussion where we left off last time.
Well, I'll give you my phase two, which,
all right,
I will say, ladies and gentlemen, is not quite that cinematic journey, but I do think it has some fun ideas. So. My phase two, I dubbed kind of it's sort of like a mini arc in all this, because again, in the Darkseid saga, I'm referring to it as Justice League Disassembled. So, okay. I'm not sure exactly how but I got a few ideas for the movies that would be featured in this. So one of the movies I would have, so the Justice League this new version of the Justice League are more established after the events of phase one. And I would also introduce the idea that the U.S. government is getting a little bit more wary of like this independent team of super people. So we get another concept from the New 52, the Justice League of America. So this is where we have like a team of recruited, similar like-minded heroes who are report directly to Amanda Waller. Just kind of like in the New 52. Again, I know the lineup from the New 52 included Green Arrow, Catwoman, Martian Manhunter, Hawkman, I think was in there at one point in the New 52 version. So we could play around with that, like who would be in there. But essentially, they would serve as counterbalances to our version of the Justice League in whatever iteration that would be. They would also continually get good coverage because consistently supervillains would create trouble that the Justice League of America would just show up and be able to stop before the Justice League ever had a chance to. This eventually would reveal that Amanda Waller has been secretly funding as a Black Ops team called dubbed Task Force X, aka the Suicide Squad. That's been basically creating good press for the Justice League of America to get the public on their side to make the JLA the official version of the Justice League, and basically make the more private or more the original version, this kind of like second generation of the Justice League, more irrelevant, mainly because they view that the first Justice League failed in protecting the planet just because they we'll say something where like they didn't incorporate the militaries of the world. When Darkseid began invading, they decided to take action, and unfortunately that led to the deaths of countless millions as Darkseid ravaged across the world, or something like that. Which eventually, once the conspiracy is revealed, the JLA, who are none the wiser, they join forces with our Justice League to take on this version of the Suicide Squad. Again, you can have all sorts of villains in here. There's plenty to pick from. You can have some powerhouses. You can have some classics like Deadshot, Harley Quinn, even Captain Boomerang. Anyone you pretty much want to be a legitimate threat to our actual Justice League, because in terms the Suicide Squad would be Amanda Waller's personal hit squad in this version. They're not just like, oh, we're serving time. They're pretty much her hit squad for whatever she needs done. And they could still have the bombs, but mostly Waller is paying them in both time off their prison sentences as well as money, because they're being contracted, like a Blackwater or something like that. Again, I also had an idea of introducing a third element of the Justice League, like, because this will lead into future phases. So like a Justice League Dark. So you get like some again,
like
if
John Constantine and
Tyne or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I don't care. However you say his name.
However you say it. Swamp Things. Again, this could be like a Zatan with like kind of like, if because then I introduced the possibility of Zatanna being part of this new squad of the Justice League, so that could possibly be a part of it. Introducing that as an element. I also wanted to use another thing I wanted to use in Phase 2 again. It's a lot of ideas, not so much again fully fledged movies. Although I may have to revisit this concept in the future because. But one of the concepts I really liked from I don't know if you ever watched the Young Justice cartoon.
Mm-mm.
Okay. This is a slight spoiler, but
You could spoil it. I don't care.
Okay. So one of the concepts they have is with Dr. Fate, he's kind of the helmet of Nabu is kind of like sort of like a parasitic or entity where it's like, you put it on and it pretty much takes over the host's body. So in Young Justice, for like a majority of the run, the helm of Dr. Fate took over Zatanna's father, Zatara. And so like Zatara was basically like a prisoner in his own body with Dr. Fate controlling him. So I would kind of keep that same dynamic. Like I think in this most recent season, or I'm not sure if the season before that, they were like, Dr. Fate would only let him out like maybe 1 hour once a year or something like that. Let Zatara, out so that way he could visit with Zatanna. And you can kind of see like in like the beginning of the series, like, he's like 40-something-year-old guy with like a little pencil thin mustache, kind of like typical magician. And then like when he takes the helmet off, he's like old and gray and like he's got a beard because he's again being prisoner by the Dr. Fate helmet. So like that's an element I would like to keep if we're doing like a Zatanna Justice League Dark sort of movie. And then I don't know what other movies I kind of had for Phase 2, but I did know how I wanted it to end, which was a
massive orgy.
Yeah, action penetration, as Dennis says. But I kind of take an idea from the Dark Avengers comics, and I'm basically so instead of like so Justice League of America failed, a government sponsored, so now we're going with a private sponsored Justice League. This time, of course, being ran. I'll be filthy casual and just say it's going to be Lex Luthor in place of like the Norman Osborn.
Okay.
And that, and they'll refer to themselves as we are the Legion. And they've got a great press campaign. They're a legit everybody thinks they're a legit superhero team, and it's like reformed supervillains or people or characters that aren't revealed to be supervillains, but you and I know that they are, like Cheetah with the powers of given the powers of a mystical amulet. Barbara Minerva transforms into, or like something like that. And again, like I said, I haven't thought about the specifics, but essentially it just boiled down to a Justice League versus Legion of Doom big brawl at the end for Phase 2. And then I guess do you mind if I just go into Phase 3 because it's kind of the same thing?
Do it.
Okay, so Phase 3 is what I'm calling the Darkseid War. So I had some elements either where Darkseid recruits either like a version of the crime syndicate, or we have something like Blackest Night where, again, basically the original team that got killed in the beginning gets resurrected to kind of soften, because Earth has all these heroes now. So Darkseid wants to he's like, my force has failed. So so it's kind of like the only thing tough enough to beat the forces of Earth or the only thing tough enough to beat the heroes of Earth are the old heroes of Earth, or some stupid shit like that.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so like you have like a Dick Grayson Batman going up against Ben Affleck Batman or something like that. Something like that. Darkseid in this final saga would, of course, get the anti-life equation. Dr. Fate would sacrifice himself to give our original team that we've been following since Phase 1, like some sort of protection from anti-life, so everyone else would be affected except for like our original 7. And of course, then again, yada yada yada, bullshit happens. We defeat Darkseid with the power of love. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far into it. The tease for it, I I will say before the episode, I was like, how do I build this into other like future sagas or something like that? The post-credit scene I had was like, okay, so our original team is, kind of our team of the Justice League, our original team is overlooking this like new Justice League that's filled with all these different heroes from all the other adventures that they've had over the last couple of movies in like a massive watchtower over the earth. And all of a sudden, there's like security breach detective in Hangar Bay number 4. They go our original 7 team rushes down there. They see some sort of object is phasing into our reality. It's a time sphere, and out of that time sphere pops up a man pops out and goes, "Hi, I'm Booster Gold. The greatest hero you've never heard of. And I'm here to warn you." Or something like that. And then we'd have Booster Gold tease, or he'd be a little full of himself. He's like, "Oh yeah, right. Yeah, we need some bad shit's coming." And that's how we end it. Which I had an idea of like, okay, in the future, there's like I was going to make the next set of movies, the big bad, be like Trigon or something like that, where it's like, basically everything's fucked. There's a resistance. And Booster Gold basically got there by accident. Like, it's supposed to be like a descendant of Lex Luthor, like Alexander Luthor was supposed to go back in time to get this original version of the Justice League to stop him, but Booster Gold like accidentally got into the machine and got all the tech or something like that. So he's like, my name is, and he looks at his arm, it just says Booster and power level gold or something. Booster Gold or something like that. Like
my name is Max Power.
Exactly. So he's like faking it until he makes it, pretty much.
Which is something Booster would totally do.
Exactly. So that was kind of my ending of my next 2 phases.
So they would defeat Darkseid then with the anti-life equation, or?
Yeah, they would. Again, through our original team would like. I haven't figured out exactly how they would do it, but again, just they would manage to revert. They would manage to somehow like either invalidate, or they would, because they could never stop Darkseid because again he's stupidly overpowered. But I think they would do something to the I don't know. I guess if I'm pulling ideas out of my ass, I'd probably say they would get something from like the Source Wall or something like that that would invalidate or like rewrite the anti-life equation to be inert or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So it's like he basically has to start his quest all over again, or like or heck, if I'm going to steal something, maybe they get like what was it in Legends of Tomorrow where they get the spear or something like that?
The Spear of Destiny.
Yeah, they use it to like rewrite reality so that way the anti-life equation, does nothing or something like that, or they make it like they just make it meaningless.
You know what you should do, and I don't know how you would do this, but you should have some seemingly minuscule item that's referenced in your first phase turn out to be the big MacGuffin that can destroy the anti-life equation.
Exactly. Okay, I kind of like that. Like
that way you go back to like, wait a second, we've had this thing the whole time?
Yeah, or like it's like some sort of bauble in like Dr. Fate's room in like in the Hall of Justice or something like that, or the Hotel of Justice. I don't know. But I kind of like, again, like that's my general arc for that. And then I think like if we did another saga, it would be like a big time travel multiverse or leading up to like kind of the multiverse, and then a third saga would would eventually end in Crisis, and then that's how we restart the whole. That's how we restart the whole. Again. Exactly, and keep printing money from the end of time.
Alrighty. Do you want me to go into my
Yes, yours are much more exciting. I want to hear what you got.
All right, so Act 2 begins the Green Lantern Corps.
Okay.
And this movie is almost like, I won't call it a buddy cop movie, but it's Hal Jordan takes John Stewart to meet the Green Lanterns to get involved, and he's like his John Stewart's. It's like a training day almost sort of thing, except Hal Jordan's not evil. But he's supposed to be like taking him out and showing him the ropes. And the first assignment is to say that, hey,
Bongle ain't got shit on me.
um, the first assignment is that they're having trouble reaching their other Green Lantern, Sinestro. And so go to his home planet where he was last seen there, and so check out if everything's okay. So they go and say, "Oh, this would be an easy thing." And Hal Jordan's like, "Sinestro's like my best friend. He trained me. He's so great. It's awesome." So they go to whatever planet Sinestro's from, and they see their civilization there is like so nice. It's perfect. No wars, no famine. Everything's just great. And Hal Jordan's like, "This is great." He's like, "Yep, yep." Sinestro's like, things are move along just dandy when you have good law-abiding citizens, all that. And John Stewart's like, something's up with this. This is too weird. Something's weird. And Jordan, like, he doesn't want to hear it because Sinestro is his friend. He's not going to hear anything bad about Sinestro. Eventually, it's revealed that the reason it's so good is because Sinestro has forcibly overtaken the planet and is ruling it as a dictator. So everyone's forced to be in step.
Right.
And eventually, it's the truth comes out, and so they have a big battle and they fight, and eventually Sinestro is defeated. I don't know if he's going to get away or if he is imprisoned, but at the end of it, he somehow comes in contact with
The yellow element.
the yellow element and learns something like there are other Lantern Corps out there, hinting of something that'll happen again in the future. Hal Jordan is shaken at his core that he didn't see his friend do this, so he decides maybe to take a leave of absence from the Lanterns, leaving John Stewart to be the main Green Lantern from the for that section or something like that. So the next movie after that, I'm not as detailed on that one because I haven't given it as much thought other than the basic layout, and I don't know as much about Green Lantern as I do about some of the other ones.
You call yourself a nerd.
I know, right? The next one would be a Wonder Woman sequel, and I'm going to be honest, I have no plot line for this other than I do have an idea of Wonder Woman somehow learns of a prophecy.
Okay.
And she's worried that this prophecy will spell doom for the world. And so she has to go in the face of like other heroes. Like she has to do something against Batman and Super. I'm not saying they'd all be in there, but like there'd be a couple cameos here and there. And almost like it's like a Wonder Woman on the run type of thing.
Okay.
And eventually it all works out. She's the hero and whatever.
We'll call it Wonder Woman 1985.
Yeah, right. She's not on the outs with anyone, but some seeds have fractured in her trust.
Okay.
The next one would be an Aquaman sequel, and I have no idea for an Aquaman sequel of what, because I don't very little about Aquaman. Maybe Black Manta does something. I don't know. So
bigger, longer, and uncut.
Yeah, right. But I think you need to establish those characters more to develop them. Probably deal with the fallout from Justice League and the fact that Aquaman almost had his kingdom destroyed, so maybe he's shaken to the core about what he can do about being a better protector. This next movie I have more ideas about is the Flash sequel, and this would be called The Flash of Two Worlds.
Okay.
And in this, it's a combination of like the first 4 or 5 crossover comics that Flash had with Jay Garrick. And in it, Flash is at some meteorite reveal. Like the museum, like, we got this special meteorite from billions of years ago, and no one can. It's so rare elements, blah 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 blah. Blah.
Right.
And Iris is there covering it for the newspaper. Flash is just there, and because he's with Iris, and then Captain Cold and the Trickster show up to try to steal it. So Flash gets in the gears, like, all right, guys, you can't do this. And through their technology and Flash's speed, and they try to attack the thing, and it zaps all three of them into Earth 2.
Okay.
And Flash is like zipping around trying to find Captain Cold and all of them, try to get him arrested. And on the TV, who's watching this all go down is Jay Garrick, and he's like, "The hell is that about?" So he, zaps off to go see Barry Allen, and Barry's like, "Hey, wait, you're the Flash? I'm the Flash. Where am I?" So Barry learns about the multiverse, and Jay's like, "Yeah, I'm a scientist. I've been studying multiverse theory. I don't know how it all works necessarily, but the fact that you're able to transfer to different worlds, that gives me more information." And he's like, "Oh, how do I get back?" Like, well, let's see. They take studies, and they eventually develop like the cosmic treadmill or something like that.
Okay.
Meanwhile, um, one of Jay Garrick's associates is another scientist by the name of Vandal Savage,
Okay. All right.
who is, of course, really the villain Vandal Savage. And in Earth 2, the meteorite that they revealed to, in the world that caused him to transfer was the one that Vandal Savage encountered when he was like a caveman and gave him like the powers of immortality. And after being alive for like so many years, um, he's tired of living, but he can't kill himself. So what he decides to do is like, listen, we got this rock. I need this rock. How do I get this rock? Because I can use it, and I can destroy my universe. And if my universe is destroyed, I can finally die. And so he breaks Trickster and Captain Cold out of jail to like steal this rock for me. And they do, because they don't know what he's being used for. Like, whatever, rich guy wants a rock, or whatever. So they do that, and they start realizing what's going on. Like the world's all shaken and all that. So
Right.
the two Flashes have to team up to get this rock back from Vandal Savage. And I don't know if this was from another movie or something, or if I'm making it up or what, but all these portals to different worlds start opening up. And, the Flash is fighting Vandal Savage, and eventually they get him away by like tossing him into one of the other portals. And they eventually stop the machine. But what they learn from the machine is they learn how to like traverse universes now, and that
Okay.
Flash is able to get back to his universe, and he learns about the multiverse. Like, this is great, good to meet you, everything. Um, this might be overly cruel, but it's revealed that Vandal Savage is thrown to an alternate world where there was never any life on Earth, no technology, nothing, and so he's literally in a prison that he can never escape from because there's no tech for him to build anything to escape that alternate world.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know if that's too cruel, but there's that. Um, so that's the Flash of Two Worlds. Oh, meanwhile, there's a subplot that takes place on Earth 1 where Kid Flash, Wally West, who got his powers at the end of the last movie, and Iris are trying to learn out where did Flash go. So
Okay.
and so to give them a little something to do as well. The next one would be my Superman threequel called Superman and Lois on War World. And this is also based heavily on one of the Superman comics from the late 80s. But it starts off that Superman and Lois um, were able to utilize the technology. Well, Batman was able to utilize the technology from Imperial X to make a spaceship. And Superman has been finding planets to release the jars,
Yeah.
the bottled
Aluminum
city,
dry cities. Yeah.
yeah, on different worlds. And he goes to this other one to release Candor, and they're there for a little bit so we could meet up with people and say hi. And um, they're on their way back, and the Kandorians were like very cold to Lois because she's a human,
Right.
and like they're like Kyle, you should come back anytime you want. You're always welcome. And Soup's like, oh yeah, maybe I'll think about doing that more often. You're just trying to be nice, but Lois is getting like really angry about this,
Yeah.
and um, they're traveling back, and they start getting into an argument. He's like, I wasn't really thinking I was going to stay there. I was just trying to be nice to them. It's like, well, the fact that you even said, typical couple dispute. And
Right.
in the middle of their argument, before they could apologize or anything, their ship is attacked. Oh, meanwhile, Superman's low on his powers because he's been away from the yellow sun for quite some time. And
Try to relocate these planets.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And they're attacked by Warworld, who sees this ship, and they pull him in, and they're like, what do you call it? It's run by Mogul,
Right.
and they realize, hey, Superman, you're a strong guy. You're gonna be one of our gladiators. So you're going to our gladiator world, and like Lois, you're a woman, so you're gonna be tossed in the brothel. So they're separated.
Oh my
We meet other characters, Maxima,
god. Okay.
who is sort of like a lieutenant, but she's still like a slave on the world. She's
Okay.
immediately attracted to Superman, given how strong he is. And even more so, when Superman's forced to fight, he fights Draga, who's one of the other fighters there, and defeats him really easily. And he even like stands up to Mongol, who's in charge of Warworld, and Mongol's able to like take him out really quickly because Superman doesn't have much powers.
Right. He's flying on fumes.
Yeah. But like Maxima's like, ooh, that's Superman. He's going to be in. I'm going to get in his pants. Superman, of
Right.
course, doesn't want anything to do with her. And meanwhile, Lois is on her side. She gets out of this brothel and she's like, what is going on with this place? And they said that she was given a hint, like, listen, there's a prisoner here that was deemed too dangerous, and he's in a separate prison that he's being like stripped away. If you can get to him, maybe you could get out of here. And she's like, I'm going to find him. Like, you're never going to get out of here. It's not going to possibly. She's like, well, I'm Lois Lane. I'm going to find my way. So she tries to find who this other guy is on the planet. Superman's fighting these gladiatorial rings, and he doesn't like this at all, but he's forced to do it. He's being trained by. Draga gets really mad because he's been humiliated, so he wants revenge on Superman. Mongol is upset because people saw Superman in his like big centerpiece fight, and like he challenged Mongol to come down, but Mongol didn't, and so people are like, "Oh, this guy's challenging Mongol. This is something else." So he's getting pissed that his rule is being usurped, questioned, and eventually it's revealed that Lois finds the prisoner who's surrounded in a fire prison, and it's revealed the prisoner is Martian Manhunter.
So okay.
She's able to spring him, and he's really down because his people are gone. Like, he was trapped here for however long, and he doesn't want to really help. But eventually she encourages him to help, and he does. And Draga comes down. Oh no, Superman. Draga gives Superman, because they come to an understanding, and it gives him like this giant suit of like Superman armor. Maybe inspired by this. I don't know if you're ever familiar with the story Superman Unchained, but he's given this ridiculous, overpowered armor suit in it.
No.
I'm
gonna Google that.
I have the figure of it somewhere, but it's not important. But so he's given. This is stupid. What am I wearing this for? But you see this new fight where the Superman in the armor finally challenges Mongol, and Mongol accepts the challenge, and they fight. And Mongols actually get.
Oh my god! I see.
Yeah,
it.
right.
This is like driven by a 13-year-old boy. It's.
And like there's actually he gets a couple good punches on Mongol, where he starts to bleed, and so everyone's like, faith in Mongol is like shattered, and revolts start happening. But it's a trick. Like the guy takes off his mask, and it's not Superman wearing the armor, but Draga. So Draga gets his like honor back. Maxima is like, Draga, you're looking pretty good to me now.
There you go.
And so Mongol's pissed, so he tries to find Superman. And throughout the movie, he decides he's going to go to Earth because that's where Superman's from, and it's like, this is a right planet for me to
Full
So,
of gladiators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like Mongol finds Superman, and he's like, "All right, Superman, I've had it with you." And he like presses a button and shoots Superman out into space, like, "Haha, you're dead now." But he's near a yellow sun, so he gets like supercharged, battery up, and is back to full strength. Boom, flies back in, like beats Mongol to a pulp. Riots are in the streets of everything. Um, Meets up with Lois. There's a big battle. Uh, Maxima meets Lois, and she learns what she did. And during all this, um, Superman and Lois decide that they were going to get married. And Max was like, "Well, I'm a queen, so I can marry you right here, right now." And so I envision it like, do you remember the Pirates of the Caribbean movies? And
Yes.
the third one, Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley get married while they're like battling
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I kind of envision it kind of like in that sort of vein, where it's like just an ad hoc sort of wedding
Yeah,
kind of thing.
that's
And uh so like, they come over their problems that they had earlier and all that, and eventually things calm down with the riots. uh Mogul's forces are arrested. Maxima and Draga take control of the war world, and it's going to be like, we're going to find planets where we could live in peace, because we've all been taken from our places. In fact, there's a joke that like Draga's like, "And I will rule the whole place," and Max was like, "Nope, I am." And she's like, "Yes, dear." So he's like
yeah.
very subservient to her as a gag. And I'm not sure if they're going to kill off Mongol or not. I can see Maxima doing that, but I haven't decided on if that'll happen. But
Or
eventually they return to Earth, and like one of the closing scenes is them return to a spaceship to Earth that's completely destroyed and damaged to like
yeah,
Bruce, and Bruce is like, "What'd you do to my ship?" Because it's all
yeah.
destroyed there. Um, which leads to the my Justice League sequel called Injustice for All.
Oh, I like where
Justice
this
League
is going.
Justice for All. At the very beginning, Lex Luthor receives a vision of like the Justice League going rogue and destroying everything. And he keeps getting these visions throughout the entire movie. So Luthor's like, "I need to take down the Justice League for humanity." So he recruits a bunch of other villains, and they decide like the best way to do it is to fracture them. And
Yep.
so they come up with a plan to sort of sow distrust. Maybe they taken some influence from the storyline Tower of Babel. It's revealed that Batman has a plan to take down each of the Justice League members.
Yep.
Um, at the beginning of the movie, we're at it's Lois and Clark are going to have a real wedding, but we're
Yep.
at Clark's bachelor party, and so you
Oh,
see
that's
all of
great.
like you see all of the heroes, having a fun time. Bruce, of course, doesn't show to it, or he's there for a little bit, but he's the one who put on the party, and he's like, "I got the entertainment for the night," and it's Zatanna, who's a magician and all that, so we get to meet
Oh, okay.
Zatanna there. But she comes back later on in the movie. Um, and
See, that sounds like fun. That's what I will
yeah,
say. I would love to see a bachelor party, the Justice League bachelor party. All the guys are just broing out, like just having having a couple brewskis. Maybe like Superman and Barry are like, yeah, we can't really drink alcohol. I mean, we can drink alcohol, but like it does nothing for us.
like Aquaman would be the biggest. So let's
yeah,
drink more, and like the biggest, like
yeah, he's bringing
the
out
one
like
you don't want to
kegs.
invite to a party, but he's like going to be the one who's going to be to have the most fun.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman will be there too. She doesn't understand. Well, if it's a party and it's of Clark's friends, why can't I be there? Um, like you'll have like a scene where like Jimmy Olsen is there too. He's like, "Clark, how do you know all these people?" Like, in their civil, like, how
yeah,
do you know Bruce Wayne? How do you know Wonder Woman? Like, but not realizing
right.
who's who.
He's not putting everything together.
Yeah. That guy looks like the king of Atlantis. How do you know him? But um, but then like it'll be throughout the course of the movie be revealed that the villains are striking against one another, trying to sow discord. Similar, like using Batman's plans to take down the League.
Yeah,
Um,
which is always kind of like a big source of like, what the hell, Bruce? You thought
yeah.
of plans to take down all of us?
And as the movie will go on, um, like they eventually overcome the problems and they take down the villains. Bruce brings back Zatanna because Luther learned all their secret identities, and I have a scene where Luther is talking with Bruce Wayne Batman. He's like, I know your identity, Bruce Wayne. What are you going to do about it? And Bruce is like, I don't care about my identity being known. It's like, yeah, but what about all your friends? Clark Kent, Barry Allen, what about all of them? He's like, yeah, I know they'll be care. I know they would care, which is why I brought a friend to help me out. And he brings Zatanna in to like erase Luther's memory of all of that. Which the League learns about that, and they're like kind of pissed that he did that without even consulting them. And Bruce decides, listen, I'm going to leave the Justice League. I've been tracking some other things, some weird things going on. And, Supes tried to play it cool. Like, listen, Bruce, people are just hotheads. They'll come around. And it's like, I know, but I have this other mission I need to do. When I need you, I'll get you. And it later on at like a post-credits, Bruce is like tracking some device. And he finds a mother box in like the snow. And he starts like messing with it. And it winks him out, transports him somewhere we don't know. And that's
I love it.
Where he disappears to. And then the final thing in Act 2 would be a Legion of Superheroes movie.
Okay.
And this one would be one of their villains is the Time Trapper who likes to screw with them. And for whatever reason, the Legion loves Superboy. So they like, let's go back in time and meet Superboy. And they go back in time and they bring Superboy to the future. And Superboy, this is great. This is good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And they go whatever scheme the Time Trapper is doing. But it turns out that Superboy they got, and people are watching this movie and going into it will be like, wait, Superman was never Superboy in this universe. What's going on? Turns out they went to a pocket universe, picked up an evil version of Superboy, who's going to be our version of Superboy Prime. And the Time Trapper created it to take down the Legion of Superheroes. So eventually, to trick them, yeah. And eventually, they somehow are able to stop Superboy, but have their day. This Legion of Super was supposed to be like a fun, like teen-oriented Guardians of the Galaxy kind of fun kind of movie, and the post stinger would be you see Superboy trapped in his prison, and someone coming who we don't exactly know, and be like, I've traveled far for you. You want to come with me and help me out with something? And leading that Superboy Prime is going to be a big major player in the saga going forward.
Ooh, okay.
So that's the end of part 2 or Act 2. Then we get into Act 3. And this is a movie that I think they should do regardless. Because right now, Wonder Woman and Aquaman are the two hottest things DC has going for them.
They haven't fucked it up that badly.
And this is going to be a combo 3-parter for Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
Oh, shit.
Called Aquaman versus Wonder Woman. Or Wonder Woman versus Aquaman, whichever one you want it to be.
Yeah.
And when I was coming up with this idea, I stumbled across a villain that makes total sense for both of them. There's a Wonder Woman villain called Queen Clea, who's in charge of Venturia, which is one of the kingdoms of Atlantis. And she has a grudge against the Themyscirians, but in this version, she feels she should be queen of Atlantis for whatever reason. And she wants to take down Aquaman. And she feels the best way to do it is to start a war between Themyscira and Atlantis. And Aquaman and Wonder Woman are friends. And they're like, well, this is not right. This isn't right. But they try to investigate it. But it eventually leads to the fact that a plan gets placed. Oh, let me rephrase that. Something happens to Atlantis, and it's blamed on Themyscira.
A bomb. Let's say a bomb goes off or something.
Yeah, something. Yeah, and Atlantis wants, we're going to declare war against Themyscira. And Aquaman's like, no, wait, this doesn't make sense. Wonder Woman's my pal. I'm going to get this all figured out. And Wonder Woman, they come, what's going on? I was like, I don't know, that's weird. So they go to Themyscira, and of course they're pissed at Woman for bringing Aquaman there. And they're like, we didn't set anything off, but we've been getting a lot of threats lately from, Atlanteans. And it's like, what? Aquaman's like, we haven't been given any threats. What are you talking about? And meanwhile, back in Atlantis, Queen Clea starts navigating her way like, he left you. We're having attacks going on here. This isn't good. Blah 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 blah. We need to start. We have this giant weapon because of course they do. We launch it. It will eradicate Themyscira off the face of the map. And the Atlanteans, without anyone else there, like, yeah, sure, let's start building it in case we need it. Aquaman goes back and learns, wait, what are you doing with this weapon? And we can't. It's like, well, we're making it. And here's where the versus part comes in. If it's already too late for the weapon to be dismantled, if the weapon is dismantled, the power that it takes is going to eliminate Atlantis. If it gets fired, there's no way to change the trajectory to eliminate Themyscira. So Aquaman and Wonder Woman have their giant battle fight to stop this weapon from happening. Eventually, they come to a stalemate, and the weapon they're fighting too much for them to notice that the weapon got fired. Instead of coming up with a solution, they were fighting, and they realize we did this wrong. And so Wonder Woman goes back to Themyscira, and they learn through Greek god magic that the only way to do this is to cause Themyscira to transport itself to another realm. And because of that, Wonder Woman will never be able to go back to see any of her people ever again. And so, as hard as it is, that's the decision that they decide to do, because someone has to be outside to activate the comic book science
spell. Yeah, comic book magic.
And so
a wizard did it.
Yeah, Themyscira disappears from our realm, so the energy weapon, just hits the ocean and doesn't do anything. Eventually, the Queen Clea is found out and is arrested for treason. And Wonder Woman and Aquaman claim they healed their wounds, but Wonder Woman's clearly not happy. So we're seeing the Justice League kind of falling apart here. Batman's out, Wonder Woman's kind of out, Aquaman wants to do his own thing now. So things are falling apart. The next movie is one that I've poached from a long forgotten script, but it's too great not to have. And this is kind of be like a one-off sort of thing called Green Arrow Escape from Supermax. Do you remember this one talked about?
I don't think so. So refresh my memory.
This was like about 15 years ago. They want to make a Green Arrow movie, but what it is at the very beginning, Green Arrow is wrongly accused and arrested for a crime, and he's thrown into a jail where they have all these supervillains, and the jail is designed for superpowers and supervillains. So it's like the jail keeps changing to adjust to various powers and everything. And the movie was supposed to have like cameos from all these third-rate villains.
Okay.
And his goal was like he was going to escape to clear his name. I figured I'd have Black Canary in it, trying to do an investigation on the outside, and it kind of brings Green Arrow into the mix of everything.
I wonder. Actually, I will say this. Now that you're kind of saying that, like, I wonder what one of the things you could do is, and again, you're playing up the Robin Hood angle. Like, you make Green Arrow more like one of those like an anonymous type, where he's like kind of like he may be stealing from the rich and stuff like that and giving back to the poor, trying to like expose people by like, but he ends up, he breaks in and steals. So a lot of people view him more as a vigilante, less so than some people view him as a hero, some people view him as more of a criminal. So that's how he ends up in the prison.
My thought was that he was investigating something, some rich dude, and when he came across the rich, it could be. I don't care. That part's not important, because he finds him when he gets there. He finds him dead with a bunch of arrows in him, and the cops come in and arrest him, unmask him as Oliver Queen, so everyone knows his identity. So everyone thinks he's a murderer, and so now he has to get out to clear his name. I think in the jail he'll learn who actually did it, so he needs to go and take care of that. And basically, it's like the Doctor Strange, where it's just like, this has nothing to do with the overall arc, but we need to introduce this character. We want to introduce this character.
That sounds like fun.
The next one would be the Green Lantern sequel called War of the Rings, and which, now they say it out loud, it sounds too much like Lord of the Rings, but whatever.
It works.
I don't know the full details, but it would be like all the different lantern rings, not lantern rings, all the different
Emotional spectrums.
yeah, all different lanterns, the groups all coming together and warring with one another, and then
I,
that's all I got for that one. I figured
I,
it'd be a good visual spectacle.
I got an idea to add to that one, mainly because you brought up the Lord of the Rings. Make it so that way everyone's after all the different groups. You know, the yellow lanterns, your red
Mm.
lanterns, even your blue and like star sapphires and stuff like that. They're all looking for, again, going back to your Lord of the Rings reference. They're looking for the White Lantern ring, the one
Ah,
the one ring that has power over all the emotional spectrum. Whatever core has that will have an advantage over all the other cores.
that's a good idea. That gives it like focus, and maybe like John Stewart, who'd be the primary focus in this one. I don't know if Hal would show up. Um, uh, maybe they could. No, yeah, Hal can show up. Maybe he's affected, becomes Parallax or something in there.
I was kind of thinking that he's gone in the years since we last seen him, he's gone a little like stir crazy like Colonel Kurtz.
Could be. I'm just
Or
thinking he somehow gets like just infected during the search or something. But
yeah,
yeah, but
Kyle Rayner is like John Stewart's like again going back to the Training Day metaphor. Kyle Rayner is now John Stewart's new partner from Earth.
they could. I wasn't keen on introducing too many new lanterns, but they could do that.
There's a shit
Anyway,
ton of them.
yeah, there's that storyline needs a little work, but there you go. Um, the next one would be the Flash threequel called The Reverse Flash. So
Okay.
in this one, Flash is doing his day and he starts learning of a lot of friends that are going missing, a lot of bad things starting to happen, and he meets his ultimate nemesis, the Reverse Flash, and learns that the Reverse Flash was the one who killed his mother all those years ago, and he has to go up against him to take him down. And um, basically, it'll kind of just be a story along those lines. I again,
Yeah.
as these gone on, I don't have as many details as the earlier ones,
I'm
but
so more interested in your movie, so
the big crux of it is that um, the Reverse Flash ultimately wanted to meet the Flash before something big happens, and you don't know what he's talking about. Like he's like someone close to you is going to bite at Flash, and it's going to change you forever.
yeah,
But he gets eliminated before it's revealed whatever that is. So
yeah.
you know, um,
You're good.
the
7 days, Barry. 7 days.
um, yeah, maybe it's like maybe he's hinting the Flash is going to die, but it all gets taken care of. There might be more time travel in there too. Who knows? But the next movie would be uh, a new team movie called Titans,
Okay.
and this is going to expand um, on what happens when Batman's missing in Gotham because he's been MIA. Oh, I forgot. Oh my God, I forgot. At the end of the Green Lantern movie, the tag on that would be the lanterns get like this weird signal,
Uh-huh.
um, and it's on Apocalypse. So they go to the Apocalypse and they're like, we gotta hide out. We gotta make sure we're not looking like lanterns. So they find out what the signal is. Because in an earlier movie, Hal Jordan gave Bruce a ring, like if you need me, press this button, I'll come and get you. And it turns out Bruce was transported to Apocalypse, has been living anonymously there for the past few years.
The Batman of Apocalypse. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And so like the lanterns find him and Bruce is like, what took you so long? And so we find out where Bruce has been at.
I got a great idea. So again, Bruce is so we assume he's been on Apocalypse for a few years. They got some weird colorful costumes on Apocalypse. You give Batman the color scheme of Batman, Zur, and Ra. Or something like
You could.
where
You
it's like
could.
stitched together from like different like apocalyptic uniforms and stuff like that, like of the Royals and stuff like that.
That would be a good way to do that.
Yeah,
A good way to like reference that.
yeah.
But anyway, going back to Titans.
Yeah, Titans.
You kind of learn what's going on. It's like a Batman movie without the Batman. So like
Okay.
Robin is the main guy. Oracle will probably be there too. Um,
Which question?
oh,
Which
Tim,
Robin?
probably Tim, all of them. The Tim
Okay.
Drake and whoever the newest Robin is, if we introduce one, I don't know, but it would be sort of like a way to bring in younger
Okay.
characters into that world. Um, then it brings us to our Justice League
Three cool.
uh, threequel, and this is called Justice League Infinite Crisis.
Okay.
And what this is at the very beginning of the movie, well, the Justice League is all spread out right now. Like Batman is on Apocalypse, Green Lantern is out there in space. Hal Jordan is kind of out of it because he's been Parallax. Uh, Wonder Woman's on a journey. They're all spread out.
Right.
Um, all running into our universe is a Lex Luthor from Earth 3. And he's like, holy shit, guys, I'm Lex Luthor from Earth 3. You got to be careful. Something bad is coming.
Right.
And maybe he talks to Superman. And Superman's like, I don't believe you. You're Lex Luthor. He's like, no, I'm not your Lex Luthor. I'm a different Lex Luthor. You can call me Alex if you want.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's like this crime syndicate from an alternate world destroyed my world, and it's coming here. They did everything on their world. They want to find other worlds, and they've learned how to go through the multiverse, and they're going to come here to your world is next. So the evil Superman is starting to come out of the woodwork from this alternate world to like do battle and everything else. Um, Superman and Wonder Woman and them try to come back to topple these guys to like battle them out. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, Batman's been on Apocalypse. Like, yeah, this Darkseid guy, I don't know what the fuck his deal is, but let's hope he never comes to Earth, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to escape off of Apocalypse, and Darkseid's on their tail. At the same time, Darkseid's like, I've been noticing a lot of multiversal problems going like all the way back to when Earth defeated Imperial X. What's going on with Earth? Why all these? Why is the multiverse being tampered with?
Yeah. Why is the
And
multiverse kind of centering around the planet Earth?
and so he's off to like check that out, and also to check out stuff with the source wall, because like it's always a source wall connected. Multiverse connect in this world. The multiverse is connected to the source wall,
Yeah.
which is like at the edge of the universe.
Yeah.
And so while they're all doing all these battles and everything else, a couple storylines start to come together when um, it's revealed that like the good Lex Luthor is doing all these experiments in the Hall of Justice trying to get to things, and he says, you know what? Where we need to go is to the source wall. If we get there, we could probably send these guys back, no problem. We need to lure them with great power. And like the Justice is like, okay. So they all wind up at the source wall, and almost once they're there, um, the Luthor takes out a remote control, hits a button, and the not Justice Society, the
Crime
bad guy
Syndicate.
the crime syndicate immediately die. And they're
Yeah.
like, what the hell, Luthor? And Luthor's like, sorry, I'm not the good guy you thought I was. The whole thing was a scam because he needed to get to the source wall. And who comes all of a sudden now is Superboy Prime, who's been in league with this evil version of Luthor, the one who broke him out of the prison from when he was in jail. So what Superboy Prime does, basically what Luthor's goal is he's not happy with how reality is unfolding. There needs to be a perfect world, one free of crime, pure justice, none of this. And he says like, you superheroes can't even keep it together, so I'm going to rule it overall because you guys don't know what you're doing. I tried it in my world. Those superheroes turned against it. It's going to be revealed that Luthor was the one who's giving our Luthor the visions about the Justice League taking over.
Oh. Okay.
It's also going to be revealed that um, uh, through timey-wimey shenanigans,
Yeah.
that evil Luthor was the one who indirectly caused Imperial X to come towards Earth. Um, and then you're going to laugh your ass off, but in order to reset reality, he has Superboy Prime literally punch the fourth wall at like a ridiculous speed, as a reference to like when they're the when
So that panel where he breaks. Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Oh
Well,
my
like
god, that was
remember
just
like how there's this whole thing like what was it called? Like was it punching the wall where like all the discontinuities that DC had over time was just Superboy Prime punching the wall, causing like ripples of reality to go to do that. So Superboy punches the wall. The energy that comes out, Lucius is able to manipulate to change reality entirely. Um, and then we jump back to Earth with a completely new reality. Um, there's only two people who remember the old reality because they were that close to the energy wave, which is Flash and our Lex Luthor. I don't know why he's there. He just is. Um, and they're the only ones who remember anything. Everyone else, Bruce Wayne is just a billionaire playboy, just doing his thing. Superman is nowhere to be found. Wonder Woman's on Themyscira, and the whole world is just controlled. Superboy Prime is the de facto leader of the world, with Luthor actually pulling the strings, and it's
right.
a happy society, like Stepford Wives, everything's great sort of thing. So, and that's how that movie ends. It's on the cliffhanger there.
Okay, I
Um,
love it.
the next movie is a sequel to the Legion of Superheroes. So this takes place in the future where the ripple effects of reality changing hadn't reached it yet until like the very end. And Brainiac Prime, or Brainiac 5, I'm
Fine.
sorry,
Yeah.
realizes, hey, reality's changing. This isn't good. I gotta get out of here. And that's like the post-end stinger. Like he escapes reality changing, um, presumably to go back and help them. I feel at this point there should be another movie in between the two, but I have no ideas. But this gets us to our capstone final movie of this whole saga, which I don't know what to call it. I've had various ideas called Justice League Unlimited, Justice League Zero Hour, Justice League Infinite Frontier, all of them pulled from various comic titles, just to make it sound cool. Justice League Endgame. No, I'm not doing
No.
that. But it starts with the world, and this new change of a world, and uh, the Barry and Lex Luthor are the only ones who remember anything, and
And
those
they
memories are starting to slip. And Barry doesn't have his powers, so Luthor's like, "Well, how do we get your powers back?" And he's like, "Well, if I get struck by lightning." Done. Oh, Luthor, by the way, Luthor's an anomaly. Like he shouldn't exist because the other Luthor kind of took his place in this new reality. So Luthor's pissed he has no access to any of his stuff, so he wants revenge on that. And so they are able to get Barry his powers back, and like, okay, we gotta reunite the League. At this point, Brainiac 5 from the future comes down. Because he was shielded from the changes, he still remembers everything. And he's like, listen, I think I know how to get their memories back. I have the technology to zap them. So so the first half of this movie is kind of like a recruitment video where they try to get all the different
We're getting the
characters.
band back together.
Yeah. And there could be an emotional bit with Batman because he has his parents alive, everything.
Yeah.
And he gets his memories back, and he has memories of both lives. And he's like, do I give this up? This is what I've always wanted. And eventually he decides, no, this is for the greater good. We can't be living as slaves underneath this guy.
Right.
The evil Luthor starts realizing things are going wrong, so he recruits Superboy Prime to like, hey, you got to take down these heroes. Eventually, somehow, reality is able to be restored. I don't know, through the power of love.
For the power of
Um, and the big thing is the sacrifice, because all the heroes are theoretically in better, happier lives. Like Wonder Woman's family's all still there. Aquaman's leading a great world, a great country. Superman doesn't have the burden of being Superman. He's, I don't know, maybe he's Amish or something like that. I don't know, but they're all living their best lives, but they decide to sacrifice that for the greater good. And so
or hell,
at
put
least
Superman on Krypton. Krypton didn't explode in this reality.
that's an idea too. But then that's extra scenes like, how do we get to Krypton? but um, but um, big battle at the end. Superman goes and disappears. I don't know where Luthor's going to get. Luthor and Superboy Prime are going to get an army from, but they get an army, okay? Because they need people to fight. And this is where we have our portals segment where Superman, the Flash, they disappear for a good chunk here, and they come up saying, "Hey, I brought some friends," and like all the different heroes who have been ever seen come, as well as alternate versions of like Earth 2 Justice Society comes, which maybe we could do a Justice Society movie for this one. I don't know.
Yeah.
So everyone just pops in who's ever been. The Supergirl comes from everyone the Kryptonian Kandor planet. They
Yeah.
um Warworld comes, like Maximo and all their
Oh my
people come.
god.
Like everyone just comes to like stop this thing, that to save reality again. um uh Even Darkseid comes to be like, reality must. Darkseid's not as evil in this part of the saga, I guess, but he's more like, reality can't be messed with. So he decides to take part, even though he decides, I'm going to be more of a passive observer. I'll interfere if I need to.
That's
um
I will say that my one comment I would say that sounds more like a Metron or something like that, where
I
it's
I guess, I don't know.
yeah,
Details are sketchy at this point. We'll fix it in post.
we'll fix it in
um
post. We have the technology.
I even thought it'd be fun at one time before the Crisis on Infinite Earths show did it, that we'd see every version of Superman that's ever existed pop up in there as like a giant like Superman extravaganza
Yeah.
scene.
You get
Um,
deep fake Christopher Reeve to show up.
you could
We have
uh,
the technology.
bring back Tom Welling in his like t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck am I here?
They're
Um,
not paying me enough. I'm not. They're paying me enough for one day. That's all they're getting.
the Barry Allen Flash will sacrifice himself because that's what Flash does.
Yep.
And then Superman will sacrifice himself as well, sort of, where something gets detonated or will be detonated that will cause reality to get destroyed again. So Superman's like, I gotta stop this, and he's like, but no, if you do this, you will die, because Luthor put like gold,
Krypton.
our version of Luthor, who still can't let Superman go, puts gold kryptonite in there, and if this explodes Superman, you get gold kryptonite, you get be normal human. Or maybe he uses his solar flare power. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Um, but Superman goes and essentially sacrifices himself to save everyone. Luthor's even changed by it. He's like, all right, I gotta let this go. I'm gonna be on the side of angels now. I see Luthor as like our Loki, who's like, you love to hate him, but he has like ultimately a change of heart by the end of it. Um,
I know again from like the New 52 or Rebirth era, there was like a period where Luthor was like being Superman. And he had like
right.
his war suit had like the S on it. So maybe that's like a post credit stinger. Like he puts an S on his suit.
Oh, I have another script for that one if we go on this one, but we'll get to that. So there would be it would think like, you think Superman's gone and dead. Then there's going to be a scene towards the end where Lois quits the Daily Planet saying, I just can't do this anymore. And Perry White's like, okay, well, say hi to Clark for me. He's like, what do you mean? Like Lois, I've been a reporter for like a million years. I know when something's up. It turns out Superman actually survived his ordeal, but he's just mortal now. So he gets to have like a happy
Normal.
ending with Lois
Aw.
Lane.
Aw.
Um, and Batman was to be around to get ready to mentor the next generation of superheroes, and that would be our ending. If we did a post credit sequence, it would be something where Luthor's learning about cloning technology, thinking like, the world needs Superman, and that he's going to try to clone Superman. And so that'd be the end of my third act, my three. I do have ideas for down the line. I love the Newsboy Legion. I'd love for them to get a movie. Um, uh, we could continue on the Flash series with Wally West now being the Flash, like a movie called The Flash Reborn.
Yep.
And then this could either be in a Titans sequel or its own movie, be Superboy, which is the clone Superman. And it could be played by the same actor who played the Superboy Prime, so you can keep that actor in the mix.
Yeah, there we go.
So that's my epic DC universe saga.
What universe has your movies in it? Because I would love to see them. They're actually. I'm not even like. I'm not even just like. I'm not even just trying to just brown nose. Like those actually sound like real legit good. Like I'd want to see these kind of movies.
Well, thank you. I this is what I think about instead of real issues. Oh my god, we've been recording for 2 hours now. This is crazy.
Oh
I don't
my
know if I need to
god.
split this one into 2 episodes, but well, we'll see.
Phase 1 and phase 2 and 3.
Right?
Oh my god. But um
So yeah, call us, Warner Brothers. We got ideas.
we will sell out for you. Better call the all new Culture Cast. It's all good, man.
So
No, but yeah, clearly between the two of us, well, I would say more so you, have much better ideas of how to correctly warn a brother and make movies that people would actually want to see. I want to see those movies. Like I was like, what happens next? Come on, tell me.
yours is an intriguing storyline in terms of like using next generation, like using the current stuff as a stepping stone and going on with the next generation of heroes. I would be curious what the public would respond to it with,
Yeah.
because like you wouldn't have your traditional Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but like
I
it
just
would be a bold direction.
it broke new ground.
It broke new ground. I
No, but
clapped.
yeah. Well, the idea that I kind of had was like, okay, we got a new team, and then the second phase is like more like, okay, who should be the team that saves the world? Is it this new team of heroes? Is it one that's sponsored by the government, or is it one that's kind of, again, one that's more sponsored by like a corporation? In this case, LexCorp. Kind of like these three different ideas of like, or these three different Justice Leagues going on. Well, technically four if we go through with the Justice League Dark. And then I did like the, and again, I want to be like, okay, now they have to fight their ultimate challenge. Can they overcome the one evil that their predecessors couldn't even overcome? So that was kind of like the overarching thing. Because that was my main thing. It was like, I like the Earth 2 idea. I think that would be a good place to, again, if you're going to like try, because it doesn't seem like either one, like Marvel or DC, are willing to do like a hard part of saying we're disregarding continuity, because even like the Suicide Squad, like it still used the same actors from
Right.
the David Ayer. So it's like, well, even though James Gunn's like, well, it's kind of a sequel, but it's kind of its own thing. It's like, well, it more or less still functions as a sequel. You can watch the David Ayer version and still go into that one. So it's like
the Suicide Squad was like a James Bond movie back in the day, where if you didn't see the other Bond movies, you could still enjoy this one, even though it had like the same actors in it and everything.
Exactly. But which works, but yeah, they've so far none of them have been committed to doing like DC's closest with like saying, oh, we're doing the Batman, but it's like, well, the argument's like, well, this is a multiverse. So, but yeah, so I think that we both have really good ideas. I think one of us, look at you, have a much firmer grasp of what it means to actually sell a movie, and we need to get you to Hollywood now, is what I'm hearing. It's only what, a 24-hour drive to LA.
I think it's a little bit longer drive from Chicago to LA, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. Get in the car right now. We'll be there by morning.
So, I put a lot of thought into this because I don't know, I like DC Comics, and I've been thinking about stuff like this for over, oh, Jesus, 10 plus years or so, but
yeah. I think I said at one point, and I think in the beginning of this episode, I was like, this was a really fun writing exercise.
yeah.
And I think I will say this, because I may from time to time re-explore this, like how, especially again, depending on how many of those projects actually come to fruition, we'll see what actually pans out. Because
Right.
well, hopefully the Rock may save DC. He may sink it.
I guess the reason they pushed back like a bunch of their movies was because Warner Brothers could only afford to release 2 movies before the end of the year, which makes no sense. Do you get money from the movie? I don't know. I don't understand Hollywood economics.
A wizard did it. A wizard did it. That's all you need to know.
I know, right? Jeez. But all right. Well, I'm curious to see where the DC movies are going to go, if they're going to continue on in this continuity, limp it along, or do a hard reset or a casual reboot. Like they'll keep Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot, but recast Batman and Superman and just
Ezra
pretend
Miller.
Yeah, definitely Ezra Miller. But they'll introduce like a new Superman. Like it's a new Superman origin movie, but like keep Gal Gadot, which will make no sense. But it's like just go with it.
It's fine. It's fine. It works. It's fine.
Don't remember those old movies.
Exactly. That was from what?
Make sure all the characters are white.
Yeah.
I don't like minorities.
I'm
David Zaslav.
David Zaslav. We're appealing to Middle America. You and I are Middle America, and we hate this.
Yeah, I know, right? We're not middle enough.
I guess not. We need to breathe through our mouths more often, I guess.
Well, I'm ready for the next 10 years of constant fanboy upset about restoring the Snyderverse or restoring the Batgirl movie or anything in between. It's going to be a hot mess.
Yep. I guess we'll have this conversation again in another 10 years and see where we're at.
There we go.
How Nick and Cuz save the DC universe again. 10
Again.
years later. Until we're like in our 60s, like, eh!
They'll get it this time.
They'll get it
I love how every couple of years DC's like, we have a 10-year plan. No, now we have a 10-year plan. No, now we have a 10-year plan.
And it's not even been 10 years. Like, next year will finally be 10 years when they've started all this shit. Okay. And look at all the crap they've put out in 10 years.
I love it how they announced the Flash movie and Ezra Miller like the day after the Flash TV show was aired, and now the show be like have a 9-year run and be over before that movie even reaches theaters.
I forgot about that because I remember. I think I remember like Stephen Amell like in like a press junket or something like that. I was like, yeah, you kind of really zapping this thunder. We created a Flash TV show and then you're announcing a movie. Like, kind of really.
Yeah, he was pissed.
He's like, what the fuck? But it's like, hey, that show had a longer run than
a longer run.
Yeah. It was less of a sprint, more of a marathon.
So, well, that's our creative juices firing. Next week we'll talk about how we fixed the Star Wars prequels.
Oh, I thought it was how we fixed Twilight.
Twilight is perfect as it is. It needs no fixing.
I do have ideas though, but that's a different.
That's a future creative exercise.
I can tell you how we're ready to fix a prequel. We get a time machine. You send Dave Filoni back to the year 1999, and he takes over George Lucas, and he says, "George, I'm from the future. You got to get the fuck out of here. I know how to fix this. Get out."
Okay. I'm gonna go get my salad. That's my terrible George Lucas impression. So, all right. This episode itself is like over 2 hours long, which I did not expect it to be. So,
longest episode ever.
It might be. I don't know, but we're gonna end this here. Cuz, thanks for
thank you for inviting me and putting up
lengthy discussion.
Thank you for inviting me and putting up with my shenanigans.
That's what we're all about, the shenanigans. That we should be called the Shenanigan podcast. So
yeah, our shenanigans are cheeky and fun. Other podcast shenanigans are harsh and cruel, evil shenanigans.
Which one would you rather be? So, all right. I'll talk to you later. This has been the All New Culture Cast. Thanks for listening, everyone, and join us next week when we talk about Twilight. Bye. Have a good night.
You've been listening to the all-new CultureCast. Follow us on Twitter. Drop us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We can't promise we'll read it. Theme music by Dana Vodovaz. Check out his work on YouTube at Vodovaz Music Productions. This has been a Saltwater production. Original material copyright 2022. Thanks for listening.
Alrighty.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I didn't realize we were going on for so long. I'm exhausted, dude.
This will take like 900 years to edit, so that's gonna be fun.